friends, Pam here with Tattered Paper and Lace, and welcome back to my channel. I have not been keeping up with the ABC April 2025 challenge. I've missed a few days. Life gets in the way, so I'm back to you today. I said that I would be doing S because I wanted to show you how to make a swivel closure for my envelope flaps here, because this one is the closing one because all the rest of them are folded inside. We saw this earlier for E, for envelope. I believe that's when I did that. Yep. So you can go back and check that out, how I made this flippy flappy thing. But I want to make I want something to be here. You could do magnet, you could do Velcro, but I have been using this technique and I really like the way it looks, and it's using a pop top tab from any can that has pop top, Cokes, beers, whatever it is. And you can get different colored ones. I've got some black ones, some red ones, some blue ones, but this is a silver one. And if you have a silver one, I am going to show you how you can cover it. You can go back to letter C on this challenge because I did some clam clips that were silver, like this, that I did a faux rusting tutorial on it, if you will, tutorial, I guess, that you could go back and look at. I'll try to link it below to see how you could also do that to this, because you could also do that to this. But we're going to cover this with book page paper. Now, there's two ways that we can attach this to this, but first, let's make the piece of let's make your tab thing first. And you're just going to pick out, it's not going to matter what words are here because it's not going to matter. And you want to, I'm going to rip this with the ruler. You want to have, you can do it without words, that's fine. I like to have the words on there just for a little extra interest. But you could use this piece that has no words. But I'm going to use a piece with words. And all I'm going to do is I am going to put it on here, you know, however I want it to be. Doesn't really matter. I just want that little bit of, you're not going to see much of the text. And when you pull it off the can, this is pretty much what it looks like. I am going to take my little hammer and my little mat here. And this little piece right here, you want to keep that little piece. But as you can see, it is, well, you can't see, but it is bent a little bit toward this direction. So I want to turn it over and hit it. I'm hitting it with the rounded side of this little hammer to kind of flatten that out a little bit, because we need that part. That's how we're going to attach. But we'll just take this, and then I want to, I think I'll turn it this way, and I want to just roughly draw out, just very roughly, the shape, the little oval shape that this tab has. And I'm just going to cut that out. Just like that, just easy and simple. And we're just going to, you want it to be bigger than your tab. So we're just going to cut that out just like that. And then you'll have a piece that's bigger than the tab. You want it to be bigger than the tab because you are going to, I'm going to do it over here so I don't get glue on everything. You want to, let's see, I should do it on some white paper if I don't have any here. And you can use anything. It can be scrapbooking paper, which actually would be kind of cool because I used some ink that's sort of this color to distress this with. You could use anything, really. You could even use a piece of tissue. This would be real easy to go around the book page, but it's going to show a little bit of metallic through that if you do the patterned tissue. That's okay too. But we're just going to go ahead with this. I'm going to ink I didn't. This is not the one I meant to be using. Sorry. That's why it doesn't come out good. This one needs to be filled up. So I've been using this bigger one. So let's go back to it. So hopefully it will work better. Okay, yes. And you need a fair amount of glue. It doesn't have to be a lot, but you need a fair amount. So I'm just going to kind of spread that out a little bit. And actually, you're going to get your hands messy with glue. And as we know, that's putting the glue top back on. Hold on. That's okay. So I'm going to take this, and this, you'll see on your tab that this is the back side, and you see how the metal is kind of rolled over. That's your back side. So the smooth side is your front side. So that's what you want to lay down, is your front side on your piece of book page right here. Okay. And then you want to glue that, have that in there good, straight, however it turns out to be. And then you want to take your scissors and on the rounded part, you want to do just a few snips, not quite to the metal, but close. Just around the corners that are rounded. A little bit, just like that. You get a little bit of glue on your scissors. Just wipe that off. Didn't leave quite enough room over here, but I think it'll still work. Okay. Then we're going to take our glue again, and I'm going to put glue all over this part because you're going to wrap this paper around this tab. So we're just going to take the corners, pull them in. Where you snipped them, just pull them in. That just helps you go around the curve in a smooth sort of fashion. And it's not meant to be perfect, so don't stress. It's not meant to be perfect. It isn't going to be perfect, and that's okay. Okay, so we now have this covered. You can leave it like this and distress around the edges with your ink or whatever. But I don't like that. I want to open up the holes that are in there. So all I'm going to do there is I'm just going to take a sharp knife, whatever you have, and make a little X in here. More glue is required. You gotta put a good bit of glue on this to make sure it holds. I'm going to put it all on those pieces, and then I'm going to shove that to the back. You can use a pencil, a pokey tool, whatever you have to kind of help shove that to the back. And roll that from inside to the outside. So you have it's basically going to be covered mostly all the way around, but that's going to leave your opening, your hole. And we're going to do the same thing with this one at the bottom. And I just like to do, because it's kind of wet, so it's going to be probably easier with a little pair of scissors. Because then you can just poke a hole. And I just do 4 to the to the outside edge. There we go. Yeah, scissors do a little better. Put some glue on these pieces and push it through with your pencil or whatever, just to get that folded over to the back side like this. And then you're going to fold it over. On all the little bits. I hope I was in frame for all of that. So now you have your tab is all covered with paper. Why it doesn't want to smooth out right there. Let's get that down. There we go. There we go. Now, okay, so we have our tab covered. Let that dry a minute. Put my glue top back on. So I'm calling this a swivel closure. Just meant to close anything that's on a page that you want to close or open. Now I do like to have a little like a layer of glue all over that kind of works as a seal, only because I want to make sure all the parts and pieces are staying. Sorry, I was not in frame. So I just put a little bit around the edge and I'm just patting it in, just so that's kind of like Mod Podge would be. You don't have to go to that much trouble because you're not doing that much, but I just want to make sure that's going to stay. So that is that. That's how you cover the tab. Now, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take a little piece of cardstock, and I like to use something that would be, and I'm going to show you two ways to attach. This is the first way. This is not how I'm going to attach this particular thing, but I like for it to be somewhat similar in color to what I'm going to be applying it to. And I will take this, okay, and take my pencil and I'm going to trace around it all the way around, just the outside. The size, not bigger than, but the size of the tab. So I have that drawn out, and then I am going to, let's put that over here on this. I am going to cut around that. So we want this to be pretty much the same size as the tab. It can be a tiny bit smaller, but we really don't want it any bigger. I'm sorry, I'm not in frame. I can't see it good up this far. That's the reason I had it out of frame. I'm sorry. You don't want it to be bigger than, but pretty much the same size as your tab. And so that's what we have here. Just like that. Okay. Now, we're going to take a hole punch, and you can use the crocodile. Mine's the big bite, so I have a little punch that has just a little hole in it. And I need to make a mark with a pen. Let's do it with the pen so I'll be sure to see it. And we're going to punch a hole right in here. This is that little piece. Hold on. Take that. This is that little piece that I said you needed to leave, but I flattened out. That's right here. Right there. So we're going to punch a hole through that. Through that and through this. And it will punch with this punch. At least it has in the past. Let's hope it will do that again. Okay, just like that. Just make a little mark, and I'm going to hold this, center my little mark, and I think this will punch. Yes, see? So it's not that bad. Okay, so now I have a hole in that little piece of metal that was right across here, and I have a hole in this. Then what we do, this is the first method. Now I need to get a brad over here. Just get one of these darker brads. Oh, I have a mini one in there. I got some bigger brads from Tim Holtz at Joann's. And so I've got a little bit bigger ones and some little tiny ones, and I want to use a little bit bigger one. So I think this is the darker of the two, or they're the same. It doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm going to close that back, because if I don't, it's probably going to get shoved off. So then you take the two pieces, and now I'm going to ink. I want to ink around this, both things, because I want this to be distressed. So I'm going to do a little inking on this, okay, and then I'm going to do some inking around this, and you need to do it on the top side, not the bottom side of this, because the bottom side would be glued down. Okay, put these two together, just like that. Your holes should match up. You stick your brad through, you open the legs, and you make sure, just stick it through and open the legs, and I just bend the legs back so they're under this little cardstock piece, just like that. Okay, so you can hide them. Push that down, make sure it's good and tight, and now you have your piece. So what you do is I would slip this over. This is if I wasn't going to put anything else on this, and I'm ready now to take this. I put this under here so that I can place this tab where I want it to be to close this envelope closed. Then I will glue. I'm not going to do it because this is not how I'm doing this one this time. Then I would glue this piece, this brown cardboard piece, glue that all over, and you just take it and glue it down. Then when you've done that, see if I can make this happen without it actually being glued, this will move because this underneath is stationary. So you can then move this. You got to make sure you have it out far enough. So you have to do it like that, because you need to make sure it's out far enough that this piece will open up. So you lay it so that you can open this like that. And then this is the piece that's glued down. And that's what keeps this, so you can then rock it back and forth. And that's your closer. Now, I'm not doing it that way. And the reason I'm not doing that way is because or at least I don't think I'm doing it that way. I could, I guess. I wanted to try. I've not done it this way before. This is the way I usually do it. But since I'm going to be gluing this down, I thought I could do it through this and not have to have the backing piece, because this essentially will be my backing piece if I can indeed get a hole in it where I want it. And I have to use my could use crocodile for this too. This is just easier to me. I get confused with crocodile. So this is the same size hole as this little piece here. So I will take that, figure out where I want this to be, which is going to be about like that. I'm going to draw me a circle where I'm going to make that hole. So this is if you're putting a piece down that you can then put it through. And then I'm going to I've got to move this over to the side so I can hammer it. I'm going to do just a couple of taps to get this hole, which now I have the hole here, which I'm going to put like this. And now where's my brad? Here it is. So now essentially this piece back here is the piece that will be glued down that will let your pop top swivel. Well, you got to get both legs in there. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm going to stick it in here. I hope. These legs are not staying together now. Maybe that will work. Okay, then we stick it in there. Okay, and then I'm going to open these legs up. And then this way they can be that. And I like to take it and then hammer it down a little bit because I want it to be pretty tight. Because I'm afraid that over time it will loosen up. Then when I put this on here, like so, close this up, this then will hold down my piece. So that is my swivel closure. So we'll go ahead, I can move this out of the way now, I think. So now I can go ahead and put down the pieces I'm going to put down right here. So I'm going to do this little tab over here. I need to ink around that. I want to use something a little darker. Let's use walnut stain. Yeah, that's walnut stain. Let's use that. Let's ink around that. That's walnut stain, yeah. So we'll ink around this. That's going to go down, and then I'm going to ink around this. And this is just a Tim Holtz bingo card. So if you were going to do this on something that you just wanted to do it to the page, you would use this little piece to then just glue your top, your pop top to the page, and it would look like that. And then that would be the bottom part, and it would fold over, and then this top part would be on top here. So this bingo card is acting the same thing as that. It's just a bigger thing. Okay, and then I'm also going to use a little bit of this to go on top of that. And let's see. So now, well, where's the top? There it is. Okay, so now let's get this glued down. Oops, I don't need it over the tab. I don't need glue over the tab. So I'm going to put this down where I think it needs to go, leaving a little bit of border around it. Like that. I want that to have a tab. And then this is going to go on like this. So let's get that down. I'm not going to make this be a pocket or anything. I'm just going to go ahead and glue it straight down all the way. Just put glue over the legs on your brad. Just like that. And then we'll just put this right on top of that. And there it is. Cute. Okay, so after, and then, you know, whatever other embellishing you want to do on here, you just go ahead and do, just making sure that your tab, your pop top closure here can move. Okay, so whatever you put, you got to make sure it moves. So when you close this, you just put that right over it. And then that keeps your thing closed. not going to open. Let me lift you up a little bit. It's not going to open. That way, when you're turning pages or whatever, it will stay closed. And then all you have to do is swivel it open. And then you can open up the rest of the pages. I love this. I use this quite a bit because I love how it works. Now, this was not my original idea. I think I saw this a long time ago from Bohemian Crafting, I believe. Now, she did a bigger piece underneath. She did not do a small piece like this. She did, you know, a bigger piece, but it was not necessarily decorative. I altered that a bit and wanted this to be as small as it could be and still work. So I just made it be the size of the pop top, and that works beautifully. So that is my swivel closure. I'm glad that you came along and watched this. I hope you got some inspiration and that you'll go and try this yourself. I have lots of pop tops, and whenever I don't drink beer or anything, but so some Coke products come with black tabs, and some beers come with blue tabs, and some come with red tabs. So whenever I am somewhere at a party or something where other people are drinking the beer, I'm going around and I am stealing their pop tops. I do it discreetly because I don't want people to think I'm weird, but I like the different colors because then you don't, if it's a color, you don't necessarily, if it goes with whatever you're doing, you don't necessarily have to cover it with anything. Again, you can cover this with scrapbooking paper, tissue paper, anything that you want to cover it with that is pliable enough to wrap it all around. And when it's dry, it's very sturdy. I've never had any problems with the ones that I've done before. And that is how you make a pop top swivel clasp. Clasp, I guess, is what we'll call it because it's clasping this shut. So if you have just found me, let me bring you in so you can see how that looks. If you've just found me and this is the first video you've seen, welcome. And if you liked this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see further videos from me, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this idea. And I'd like to know if you try it. So I will try to link below this is a piece of metal tape that I used to make look rusted, and that is the process I used on the clam clips. I'll try to remember to link that description below because you could also do the same faux rusting process on this pop top and make it look rusted. It's done with paint, and that would make it look rusted. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm sure it would work because it's metal and we're using paint. So anyway, thank you for coming. If you've joined me before, welcome back. I appreciate you coming. And if you just found me, welcome. And I hope you will comment. Let me know what you think. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.